DreAllDay.com.
We about to talk about the worst possible thing you could say about me. Most skills, is that name? Most skills. Ivan Kopich, what's going on? I see a few other people checking in. Let me know your name and where you're from when you are checking into the room. I'll give you a quick shout out, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. We're going to get right into the proceedings. For those of you who don't know me, welcome. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as DreAllDay. I am an empowerment expert. What I do is empower people to think better, live better, speak better, act better, and just be better as individuals. And I do that through video content, through written content, through my website, through these Periscope videos. I'm author of 5 books, publisher of 4,000 plus videos, 3,000 plus blog posts, 9-year professional basketball career. My background is as a professional athlete. I'm a content marketing expert and a professional speaker. Ivan from Serbia, I saw a few of you shout me out while I was giving my introduction right there. I did see that. SK says she's driving and going to MAP, so you'll be in and out. All right, yeah, make sure you get the MAP to drive to where you got to go, but I'm going to give you the MAP for Successful empowerment. So you got to get both maps. Fazil from Uzbekistan, K-Cock, what the hell are you talking about? All right, we got to get K-Cock out of there. All right, now listen, we about to talk about worst possible thing you could say about me. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. Back in like 2006, now I'm from Philadelphia and I live in South Florida now in Miami. I'm from Philadelphia, so in the summer of 2006, I remember I came home I was in Mexico. I was playing basketball in Mexico, and I came home to Philly, and I used to walk to this field in Philly called Germantown Field every day. And I would do it was like a track with bleachers and stuff like that. So I would be doing my off-court agility workouts. So I would go down there with my jump rope. I had me a little Gatorade, bottled water, something like that. What's going on? Pretty Red from Miami. Nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here. You're here at the right time in the right place with the right individual. This is DreAllDay. And while I was working out, one day, there'll be a bunch of people there working out. I go like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. What's up, Lil 7, Momi? Nice to see you again. I'll be in there like 6, 7 in the morning. What would happen in the morning is everybody from the neighborhood would come there and walk. You ever go to a track and field and you see a bunch of older people, they just walking, they got their little sweatsuits on, they got their little water bottle, maybe they got an iPod or now it's a phone, they got their headphones in, or maybe they got a friend with them and they just talking, and they just walk around the track. They ain't really doing no real workout. And you got some old people who might do some jogging. They ain't really doing nothing, but they working out. Older people working out. So anyway, at the time, I'm like, how old was I in 2006? 24. So I'm in there working out. I would go there. I'll do my lateral movements like basketball, defensive sliding side to side. I'd be doing my jump rope. I'd be jumping over they had a tennis court, so I go to the tennis court nets and I'd be jumping back and forth over the tennis court nets. Then I would go to the field and I would run up and down the bleacher steps and I would do sprints on the track. I would do like 100-meter sprints or however long it was. I wasn't measuring. Sprints on the track. So one particular day, there was these 2 girls there and they was together like talking to each other. A lot of times people come there and keep their friend company even though it wasn't neither one of them doing nothing. And they were sitting in the bleachers. I don't know why they were sitting in the bleachers after their quote-unquote workout. And I'm out there doing sprints. It's like dead of the summer. It was a little bit hotter. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning that day. I'm doing all these sprints, and I could tell that they was watching me. They was talking, but they was really just watching me work out. Y'all ever go to a gym and you see somebody and they really doing more watching other people work out than they actually doing any work? I see that all the time. But there's these 2 women, and they was pretty much watching me. They wasn't doing nothing. They sitting down. So one of the girls had said something as I did another sprint. One of the girls said something. I didn't hear what she said, but then her friend said out loud, like loud enough for me to hear it. She was like, and he must be psycho while he's working out. And I didn't say anything. I acted like I didn't hear them. But you know what? I was like, you know what? You damn right. I am psycho. Because the worst thing anybody could say about you is, Coach Kev's a nice guy. SK or Jazz is, they're an average good person. What's going on, Thuani Olive, Harlem Joe? Absolutely. The worst thing anybody can say about you is, you know what, they're a nice guy. Thuani's just a nice girl. She's a nice, normal person. Nothing crazy about her. The worst thing that could happen with anybody, I remember if y'all seen the movie Ocean's 11, when Rusty, who was Brad Pitt, was talking to Matt Damon, he said, you know what, we want, what's the dude's name? The bad guy in Ocean's 11, the first one? Terry Benedict. Rusty said, you want this guy to like you and forget you as soon as the conversation is over. That's what they wanted to do because of the job that they was doing. They wanted Benedict to completely forget about the guy because all of it was part of a grand scheme. But understand, in real life, you want to be the exact opposite of that. You don't want anybody to like you and forget you and say, oh, well, you know what? He was a nice Harlem Joe. He was a nice guy. He was cool. I don't remember anything about him. 24 hours from now, I'm going to forget that I even met that individual. But yeah, he was a nice guy. He was cool. He was very normal. You don't want anybody to call you normal. You don't want anybody to call you nice. You don't want anybody to be able to forget you 24 hours after they met you. You want people to give you a label. You want people to say that you're psycho, that you're delusional, that your dreams are just too big, that you gotta bring yourself back down to earth. You ever hear somebody say that? You want people to be like, yo, you gotta bring yourself back down to earth. Where are you getting these goals from? Why do you actually believe you can do that? You are crazy. You are out of control. You're delusional. You're a psycho. What are you thinking? You want people saying that stuff about you. And let me explain to you why. When somebody tells you that you're psycho or you're delusional or that your goals are too big or they laugh at the goals that you have or they just look at you and just shake their head, they can't believe it, they're looking at you funny, that's because you have goals, you have hopes, dreams, and ambitions that are bigger than anything that individual person could ever possibly fathom. And you want that feeling. You want the people around you to think that. Because understand this, if you go to somebody who has achieved those great big things that you want to achieve and you share your same goals, hopes, dreams, and ambitions with those people, they're going to say, all right, that's what's up. What are you going to do to get there? Or another thing they're going to do, they're going to start telling you things that you can do to actually get to that point. So this is an easy way to know if you're talking to an average person or you're talking to an exceptional individual. When you tell them that you have a super huge goal, I don't care how big it is. Let's just think Oprah Winfrey, right? She's been viewed by 5 billion people probably in her lifetime in business. If you go to an average person and you say, yo, I'm going to have a TV show that gets viewed by 10 billion people, that's twice as many as Oprah. There's not even 10 billion people alive. And you say, I'm going to get 10 billion people to see my show. The average person going to look at you like you crazy. How you going to get 10 billion people to see your show? What's your show going to be about? You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know how to speak clearly on TV. You never been on TV before. You never even been on a podcast. You don't even have 500 followers on Twitter. Why don't you just start with something small like YouTube? How are you going to get anybody to pay attention to you? Who's going to want to come on your show? You know, every 300 shows that get pitched, only one of them gets picked up. You know, nobody's spending money in TV on networks anymore. Are they going to start giving you all these reasons why your goal is too big and too crazy and you need to lower your ambitions to get to where you want to be? If you told that exact same goal to Oprah Winfrey, even though it's twice as big as what she's done herself, Oprah's going to say, you know what, that's a great goal. I believe that you can do it. And she's going to start talking to you about how you can get it done. Asking you questions like, hey, what steps have you taken so far? Do you know about this? Hey, do you know this person? Hey, you know what you should do is reach out to these people over here and see what they say. Hey, here's some resources that I use that I wish I'd had when I first started that would have saved me a whole lot of time, effort, energy, and money. So that's what, when you're talking to an exceptional person and you share a huge goal, they're going to support you. They're going to at least encourage you. At the worst case, they're going to say, you know what, that's a great goal. I hope you make it. Worst case, that's what they're going to say. Best case, they actually give you some information that you can actually use to get closer to that goal. But when you're talking to an average person, an average, nice, normal person, they're going to tell you that those goals are ridiculous. So the worst thing you ever want anybody to say to you is that you are normal, that you're nice, that you're average, that you're cool, that you're okay. You don't want people saying that about you. You want people saying exceptional things about you, even if they're negative, because what you have to understand is that 95% of people in this world are average. So when your goals are way higher than theirs and they see that you really believe you're going to get there, they're going to say something negative about you because they have two options. Either A, they can step their game up, and B, have big ambitions like you, or B, they can just pull you down so that you're back to their level. That's why they say negative things about you. And it's much easier to pull you down to their level so they have to take no action than for them to actually step their game up, step their ambitions up, and go to that higher level. Because when they do that, guess what? All the other average people that they're leaving behind are going to start saying the same things about them. And most people are so afraid of criticism that they won't set their goals high. Even though they want to reach those goals, they'll never set them high because they're afraid of the criticism from the average people that they had to leave behind on the way to getting there. Does that make sense to everybody? For those of you who are just now seeing me for the first time, this is a hell of an introduction. My name is Dre Baldwin. People know me as DreAllDay. Dre K. Roberts, what's up? 617 Boston Baller. Shout out to everybody watching this on replay, everybody watching this on YouTube. Golden Hoops, what's up? Ash Kardash, JTH86. If you're watching this on replay, make sure you are subscribed so you can catch this in full next time live and I can actually respond to your questions. So here's a question from Dope Man Gabriel. Says, what if someone says that you're very stupid and ugly? Or what if they do? You don't have to respond to what somebody else said. Coach Cass says, those girls will probably wish they knew you now. LOL. Coach Ploart says, a great speech. Never heard that before. Well, I'm glad. I've talked about this in a couple of vids before, but I know that not all y'all catch every video. So that's why Sometimes I repeat myself. I might repeat the same principles multiple times, maybe say it in different ways at different times. So if any of you hear me repeat the same principle more than once, understand that it has to be repeated the same way that when you go to school, you learn the same information over and over again, because that's the way you're going to remember it. Anything that you're really good at in life, you probably had done it hundreds, if not thousands of times. True or not true. That's how you are able to develop the skill, by doing it over and over. Doing something one time is not going to get it into you. If you read a book just one time, it's a great book and you think it's a fantastic book, but you don't read it again, you're not even going to remember everything in the book. You're only going to retain probably less than 10% of the information. So you got to immerse yourself in anything over and over and over again so you can internalize it, becomes part of you. Not memorize it, internalize it. JTA said other day, hustle like it's your last, then he put the number 2. I don't know what you meant by that. Hustle like it's your last what? But Diddy got a good song called Working. He talks about that in his introduction. Actually, if you follow Diddy, I am Diddy on Instagram. That's not my account, that's his account, Puff Daddy. He posts a lot of stuff like that, where he talks about that, hustling and like having a sense of urgency to what it is that you're doing. So going back, revisiting the topic that we're talking about here, the worst thing you could ever have somebody say to you is that you're nice, normal, and average. Because 95% of people are nice, normal, average, cool, okay, nondescript, not anything memorable about them. So you want, most of the people that you meet is a 95% chance the next person you talk to today is an average thinking individual. It might be somebody you love, might be one of your best friends, it might be your mom, it might be your dad, it might be your sister or your grandma. 95% of people you run into are average thinking people. That's just the fact. That's just a mathematical fact. It's not actually a fact, but it's a fact. All right, mathematical fact. Yeah, I might have said that on Twitter. You can check my Twitter, JTH86, and you can see whatever I said about that. I don't even remember what I said about that. But look, but you got the right idea with that right there. What you just said is a close enough idea. You don't need the exact quote. That's a close enough idea right there, what you just said. Hustle is like your last 2 minutes on earth, or your last day on earth, or you might die tomorrow. I think that's something I said a couple days ago. If you knew you was going to die in 2 weeks, how would you start acting right now? How would you start living your life? What things would you do that you've been putting off? Who would you call that you ain't called? What would you say that you haven't said? What would you do that you've been procrastinating on doing? And what would you do better that you're already doing now, but you're doing it at an average level because you acting like you are thinking incorrectly that you have time to waste when you actually don't? What would you do if you knew that you didn't have time to waste? If you knew for a fact that you only had 2 weeks left, what would you start doing right now? How would your life be different? How would your actions and thoughts be different? How would your words be different? What would you stop doing? So what we're talking about, as I was saying, is that you don't want anybody saying that you're normal, cool, and okay, because 95% of people are normal. So if somebody sees you as normal, that means you're the same as them, which means you're at an average level. Now, there's a chance, outside chance, 5% chance you're talking to an above average person. Actually, it's like a 2% chance you're talking to an above average person and they'll say you're normal and cool, but they probably won't say that. They'll say something, they'll use bigger language, they'll use a bigger vision, they'll have bigger ambitions, and they'll be able to make sure that you understand that, because above average people understand there's not too many of us walking around. So when we meet another one, we want to keep that person close and we want to help that person as much as possible, because we see the possibility, the potential in you that you might actually want to become one of those above average people. We know that 95% of people are not above average. 95% of people are average. So when we see an average person, we just got to let them be average. And one thing that I have learned, one thing that I've learned over the years is that when you meet an average person, the worst thing you could do is try to talk them out of being average. That is a complete waste of time. You won't believe how much time, how many emails, how many phone calls, how much energy, how many words I have wasted trying to talk an average person out of being average and becoming above average. One thing I realized is that you just got to accept people as who they are. People are going to be who they are. If somebody wants to be average, let them be average, and figure out a way that you could actually figure out a way you might be actually able to help them be more average or do as well as they can in their averageness, and maybe how they can help you by being average. There's some things that they can help you do. No, we don't want everybody to be above average. Y'all got to understand that. You don't try to change people from being average. Do y'all understand that? A lot of them change because of people like you, though. People like me. Well, Chris, absolutely. But see, here's the thing, Chris. Here's the thing you got to understand. If you watching this Periscope or you watching this video on YouTube now, even to this point, the length of this video, can see a lot of average people, they'll watch the video for the first 2 minutes and they'll see something that makes them laugh or something entertaining or something that's out of some gossip blog. They'll cut the video off because they don't see any value in it. even if you think you're an average individual, if you're watching the video to this point, you are moving towards the above average level because you're actually seeking the information. Because you realize by this point in the video that this is not entertainment, this is not some slapstick humor, this is not a comedian. This is me giving you some actual stuff that can actually help you in your life. So you're actually looking for that information, you're above average. Understand that 95% of people that I'm talking about would never even seek this information, and if they knew it existed, they wouldn't consume it because they don't see value in it. That's what average people do. They don't see value in information that could actually help them be above average because they don't want to be above average. Golden Hoops asked me, when did I change from being average to above average? I was never average, ever. Even when my performance or my results or maybe my position in life may have seemed average from the outside looking in, my mind was always thinking above that. You understand? My mind has always thought above where I'm at. So even when I was playing basketball and I was the average player, I had the average level of skills, I had the average level of results, I had the average points per game. I was probably below average when it came to making the basketball team. My mind was always thinking, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere with this basketball thing. I'm going to be better than all these guys who made the team on the day that I didn't make the team. I'm going to be better than this guy who made the team. He's in the same grade as me. We in the same classes every day. He made the team. I didn't. I'm going to be better than this individual. Even though there was nothing in my real life, nothing in my reality orbit that said that was going to happen, my mind always believed it. So I was never average. Now, even if you think maybe you've been average, maybe you've been thinking average, but you getting this information now. So you already putting yourself in a position to be above average. Only thing you had to do is keep seeking the information, keep seeking the empowerment, seeking ways that you can actually start taking action so that you can become an above average individual. That's your number one duty. And as you start taking in this information, if you're taking any type of information enough over and over and over again, you will start thinking on the same wavelength as that information. Understand that thoughts are like a magnet. They attract things to you. It's been scientifically proven some way. I'm not a scientist. I'm not the person to explain it, but it's been proven. And any of you can look at it this way. Any of you ever listened to some personal development or read a really good book or read a string of really good books every single day, you notice that your mind starts thinking a different way. You start your habits start to change. Your habits of thought, the things that you say change. Like if you listen to a certain rapper every single day for a week, you start talking like the things you're hearing in that music. If you read books every day, you're going to start talking like the things you're reading in that book. If you hang around a certain type of individuals every day, you're going to start talking like those people. If you're from down south and you live in New York for a month, you're going to start talking with a New York accent. And if you're from New York and you live in Texas for a month, you're going to start talking with a Texas accent. If you're from the United States and you go to Australia for 2 years, you're going to come back with a little bit of an Australian accent because the wavelength of the energy that is around you affects you. And you start thinking, being, and doing like whatever you immerse yourself in. So if you're in an environment that's not ideal for you right now, then get it by proxy, like these videos, like the stuff that you can read. That stuff you can immerse yourself in at all times, and what you'll do is start to develop a mental armor to keep the negativity and the bullshit out. And even no matter how great you think somebody's situation may be, where they live, who they're around, there's always going to be negativity, because if somebody's an above average individual, average people are going to see that, they're going to feel insecure about it, and they're going to try to come up with ways to pull that above average person down to their level. So no matter how high up you get, you still got to keep the mental armor. And you think about the most successful people that you know of, like famous people, how much negativity do you hear being talked about them every single day? More than anybody, right? So even though they're all the way up there, or maybe they got this and they got that and they live here and they hang with these people, there's still the negativity coming to them. Actually, the higher up you go, the more negativity that you're going to get. So it's best that you start to develop that mental armor right now, so when it comes, you're already ready for it. And when we're talking about people who are average, who want to get to that higher level, understand that there's work involved in it, and there's a consistent work. How do you block out below average people? You just block them out. You focus on being above average. See, you don't try to avoid the negative, you try to accentuate the positive. People always ask me questions like that, like, how do I avoid, getting the ball stolen from me in a basketball game? Or how do I avoid thinking negatively when somebody says something negative to me? That's the wrong question. Understand that the questions that you ask yourself and the way that you phrase them has a huge effect on your subconscious mind and the way that you think. So ask yourself a better question. That's what I want all of you to do. Consciously think of that phrase right there. Ask yourself a better question, because your thought patterns that you go through every single day in life is just a series of questions that your mind asks and answers for itself. Your mind sees that there's a traffic jam and says, what does this mean? This means that the mind says, all right, what's happening in front of us? You answer, there seems to be a traffic jam. And then it asks the next question, what does this mean? Or this means that I'm going to be late to work. Now that's a negative question to answer, and that might be a habitual thing for you. You can ask yourself a completely different question. All right, first thing, what are we seeing? We're seeing that there's a traffic jam. What does this mean? This means that maybe I could find a new route to work today. Maybe I got a little bit of extra time to make that phone call that I've been passing up making. Oh, that's great. You know what? I can listen to this audio tape a little bit longer because it might take me longer to get to work. You know what? This means that I should call work and let them know proactively that I might be a few minutes late because this traffic jam is going on. This also might mean, another answer you give yourself is, you know what? This means that maybe I should start leaving for work 20 minutes earlier so I can avoid all this traffic and I won't be stuck in traffic every day or be subject to possibly being stuck in traffic. So when you ask yourself a better question, your mind will produce better answers. Your mind is the best assistant you will ever have in your life. There's no assistant you could ever hire that's better than your mind. Whatever you ask it, it will deliver. You ask it for negativity, it will deliver negativity. You ask for positivity, it will deliver positivity. If you start consistently, habitually asking your mind, deliver me reasons why I'm an above average individual who is destined to achieve exceptional things and be the best ever from my neighborhood, from my school, from my block, from my family. Tell me exactly why that is exactly true and I'm going to become this person. If you start habitually asking yourself that constantly, your mind will begin to deliver answers to that question. That is a guarantee. You got a guarantee on that or your money back. If any of you do that every single day for a week and your mind doesn't start giving you better answers, you come back to me and let me know. You email me, Dre@DreAllDay.com, and we're going to find out what the problem is. That's a guarantee. Whatever question you ask your mind will respond in kind. So if you say to your mind, you know what, this is a terrible day, tell me more reasons why today is terrible, your mind will come up with 1,000 just that fast. And if you say, you know what, things didn't go the way that I wanted to in this situation, but how can I use this to my advantage? Your mind will tell you exactly how you can use these things to your advantage. This might be a story that you could tell. You might be able to write a blog post and make your own Periscope video talking about this situation and letting other people know how they can avoid this situation. Golden Hoops, it can be out loud, it can be internally. You just got to make sure you're asking yourself the right questions, because right now, while you're watching this video and you're listening to me talk, your mind is giving you a series of questions and answers right now as I'm talking. You're thinking to yourself, what is this guy saying and what does it mean to me? How does this apply to me? Is this useful to me? Can I use this information? Is this believable? Can I actually raise my level? Can I raise my level of thinking the way that this individual is talking? Can I do this, or is it a complete waste of time? See, if somebody listens to this and says, tell me why everything he's saying is not applicable to me and it won't work, your mind will start telling you exactly why it won't work. And if you sit there and say, tell me how I can make everything that Dre is saying work for me and apply to my life and my way and make me become more successful and become an above average individual and a super exceptional individual, your mind will start telling you how it can happen. And the thing is, even when your mind starts telling you how that can happen, the challenge that a lot of people have is that their mind, you're so hooked habitually, is so ingrained in you to think averageness. When your mind starts giving you those above average thoughts, the average habits in your mind are going to start pulling them right away and say, no, you can't do it. So what you have to do, and that's the thing. So let me say that one more time, because I want to make sure people catch this. This is very important. When you start thinking above average things, you want to be an above average individual. Your habits of thinking, let's say if you've been average to this point, your thinking has been average to this point. When you start thinking above average things, the habitual average thoughts that you have are so much stronger than these couple of new thoughts. They're going to kill these brand new thoughts. They're going to kill them immediately. And when you get some more, the average thoughts are going to kill them again. When you get some more, the average thoughts are going to kill them again. What you have to do is be so persistent and keep thinking these above average thoughts over and over and over and over again. Eventually, those habitual average thoughts will say, you know what? We don't have the energy to keep killing them. We're going to let this one go. And one of them is going to get through. Then you got to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Then eventually another one's going to get through. Then eventually another one, another one, another one. 21 days straight creates a habit. 90 days creates a lifestyle. I say that so many times. Understand it's the exact same thing, not only with your body, with the way that you talk, with the way that you walk, with the actions that you do every single day. It starts with your thoughts. So even though you might have had negative or average thoughts to this point, and even if you're feeling great right now, you're feeling energized and inspired and motivated, but what I'm saying in this video, if you don't take this energy and keep repeating it every single day by feeding your mind with positivity that will make you feel better, those habitual average thoughts will kill these positive thoughts that you have right now if you don't make it a habit and eventually turn it into a lifestyle. So how do you do that? What if Dre's not going to do 24 hours straight at Periscope every single day? How can I actually get that? What you do is go on YouTube. Go listen. I'm listening to, this is what I was listening to on Spotify before I even got on this. This is Zig Ziglar, Foundation of Change. Zig Ziglar, this is on Spotify, and you can get this. Look up Zig Ziglar on YouTube. You ain't got to get Spotify. Spotify costs $10 a month. What if you ain't got no money? You got the internet, right? Go to youtube.com. Look up Zig Ziglar. Look up Tony Robbins. Look up Grant Cardone. Look up Joel Osteen. Look up Les Brown. Look up Napoleon Hill. Look up Jack Canfield. Look up these people and listen to the stuff that they're saying. Trust me, because the reason I can recommend those people to you, because everything that I'm saying, it is coming from the things that I'm hearing from these people. The stuff that I put out there to y'all, I didn't make this information up. Of course, yes, I think my own independent thoughts, but I get this knowledge because I immerse myself in this personal development material, in this positive thinking material, in the books. I immerse myself in it. The ideas that I get from it, I mix them with my own ideology of life and my own personality, my own character, and then it comes out as this information that I'm putting out there to you. So it might be another speaker out there who's saying the exact same thing that I'm saying, but he's saying it in a different way, mixed up with his ideology, mixed up with his personality, and it sounds completely different, even though it's the exact same information. So I could take something that Napoleon Hill said 90 years ago, but when I put it out, you'll hear it, whereas you might have never picked up a Napoleon Hill tape. Does everybody understand that? Chris said, do I accept the information that they give but reject the spiritual info they give? Like Les Brown, I don't understand what you mean. Or Dennis Kimbrough. I've heard of Dennis Kimbrough. I haven't really heard him that much. But I'm not really an either or person. I don't do either ors. It's both usually. I mean, not to that exact question, but the either or, it doesn't have to be an either or. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Usually things in life are not that black and white. Talks about God in his books. I understand that, but you can translate God to just mean a higher spiritual being. It doesn't have to be you a Muslim or a Jehovah's Witness or a Jew. He said, the video, you listen to something before you sleep every day. No, I read something. Do I reject the religious advice? No, I don't have to. It doesn't have to be either or. It doesn't have to be an either or, reject the advice or accept the advice, or you have to believe in God, or you got to believe in this. You could be Muslim, you could be Jewish, you could be atheist, you could still read a book where somebody says God. They just mean some type of higher being or higher power. I think everybody believes in something. Everybody believes in something. All right, whether it be a person, whether it be a book, whether it be a car, whether it be God, everybody believes in something. So it's not really about what religion anybody is or anything like that. That's not really important. If the fact is you're trying to become an above average individual and you know somebody who's above average and they're giving you exceptional information, you're going to go get that information. It's more important than your religious stance, I guess, for lack of a better term. Anybody else got a question? We about to wrap this scope up. Again, my name is Dre Baldwin. My website's called DreAllDay.com. Many people know me as DreAllDay. I'm on all your favorite social networks: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, of course here on Periscope. The baller, read my book, DreAllDay.com, /LIST, and you'll see that. What if you like being a nice guy? All right, then be a nice guy. Be who you want to be. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if that's who you want to be that. I'm not going to try to convince you to not be that person. You be who you want to be. Because at the end of your life, the only person responsible for your choices is you. Not me, but you. All right, anybody else got a question relevant to the topic? People ask me questions about things that had nothing to do with this topic. We're not addressing those. Anybody got a question here? We're talking about what was the scope about? You missed it. Just go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Everything I did on Periscope, you'll see eventually. Eric Thomas accredited his strength for his relationship with Jesus. That's great. That's great for Eric Thomas. Golden Hoop says, do you try to stay away from average people? Sometimes. It depends on what I'm doing. I might need an average person for something. We don't want everybody to be above average. Listen, because there are some jobs that are for average people that we need fulfilled. We need those jobs fulfilled. Everybody's not going to be that. There are some jobs, like if you're on the highway, you see those big green signs that tell you which direction to go and when the next exit is. We need people to put those signs up. Not to say that everybody who does that is an average person. Just understand the mentality. Understand that I'm speaking figuratively here. When you go to buy a pizza, there's somebody back there making a pizza and counting your money and giving you change. We need people to do that. We need this. You need somebody to do those jobs. So the mental environment you create is superior to the physical environment you are in. Absolutely, Chris. And you already knew that, right? I think you already knew that. See, when people ask me questions like that, I think they already know that information. They just want some confirmation, so there's your confirmation. But yes, the mental environment is more important than the physical environment. The mental environment is your mind sight. Physical environment is your eyesight. Your eyes can only see but so far. But your mind can go anywhere. All right, in your mind, you can go anywhere that you want. You can go to Italy, you can go to Alaska, you can go to Australia, you can go to Hawaii, you can go to Miami in your mind. Even though physically you might not be able to do so. Physically you might be stuck in Detroit. or Idaho or France. But mentally, you can go wherever you want. What are some signs to look for to tell an average person? No, that's what I was talking about already, Coach Kev. You tell me some people you know, and I'll tell you if they're average or not. The baller said, I'd rather be 7 feet than have a strong mentality, LOL. All right, well, go ahead, go be 7 feet. How do you respond to insulting comments? Who said that you had to? Nobody requires, there's no life requirement that says you have to respond to anything that anybody else says. So there is no how to. You don't have to do it. You have a choice. Every action you take, 99% of your actions are choices. Actually, 100% of your actions are choices. You have a choice whether or not to do something. Chris said, could you be in Hawaii but completely not influenced by the people there? Well, it depends on what you're doing. Are you hanging with those people? Are you talking to them every day? If you talk to somebody, you're being influenced by that person. It doesn't matter what they do. If you decide to talk to somebody, you accept their ideas, you agree with things that they're saying, you're being influenced by that individual. And again, understand, everybody, the things that I'm saying here, don't take everything I say by word for word literally. All right, you understand that I'm sometimes speaking figuratively. So when I say you could be in Hawaii, you could be stuck in Hawaii, but you could be mentally in Canada or Miami or Los Angeles or Philadelphia. Understand the mentality of it is not literally, okay, I'm in Hawaii, so now I'm in Miami, even though I'm sitting here in Honolulu. Understand what I'm saying here. Don't take everything that I say literally, but I think most of you understand that. So don't try to translate every word I say literally, like, oh, so does that mean if I do this, it means this? Y'all understand what I'm saying? All right, so we out of here, y'all. Work on your game, everybody. Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Work on your game. University's classes out for the day. There's no homework. We out. Thanks for watching this video. I'm sure you were entertained. Make sure to stay connected with me on all your favorite social networks. Twitter and Periscope at DreAllDay. Instagram, Dre Baldwin. Facebook /Work on Your Game. You can bookmark my YouTube channel by subscribing, of course, and the website is workonyourgame, that's .me, workonyourga.me. And of course, my homepage is my website, DreAllDay.com, so you can know exactly what I'm doing, exactly when I'm doing it, and how you might be able to be involved. Work on your game.